he wins the Luke Nupp Racing 200. Minute can't get to the inside. Dane Cruz is there as they come through the tri-oval. Jeffrey Armistead is going to win the iRacing.Funny 250. Mayor's going to block, coming down to it at the line. It's going to be, I think, Dylan Parker's going to go back-to-back. He will win here at Darlington. And Luke Nupp is going to be a winner in the Slide Job Racing League for the first time. He scores first time in his career. Blaze McKinney is a winner in the Slide Job Racing League. He takes the victory here at Kansas.
Across the line, Dalton Kilroy is your winner.
Jonathan Parker scores the victory, and then more importantly, he scores the Season 10 championship here in the Slide Job Racing League.
And we welcome you to the unofficial kickoff to Season 12 for the Slide Job Racing League. It's clash time tonight, the Icebreaker Clash at Daytona International Speedway. Festivities for Season 12, preparing to kick off. We've just gotten done with Season 11 a few months ago. Dawson Allen in the booth, as always. Joining me is the one, the only, the JC of JCTV, Josh Copperdoll. And Josh, we're looking forward to another fun season here in the Slide Job Racing League, and perhaps also a really fun kickoff to the JCTV season here in 2024.
Yeah, I am ecstatic to get this season underway. This series has been so fun since, taking it over, getting to know these guys. I have enjoyed every minute of it, and I can't believe we're already here at Season 12. These seasons are going by quick, but it's going to be so fun, so exciting. I'm ready to see who can get it done in the Clash tonight.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very fun one to watch here tonight. A fun race like always in Slide Job, especially with it being a super speedway race here at Daytona. Last season we saw an exciting one. Zach Probst taking home the checkered flag after chaos, and we're looking forward to possibly seeing that tonight. But somebody we're watching right here already tonight, that is the 48 right there of Jonathan Parker on your screen. Now, the thing to note about Jonathan Parker here is that he is our back-to-back defending champion. He won it in Season 10. He went out last season, Season 11, and he won that championship as well, going back-to-back, looking to continue in his Jimmy Johnson ways and go for a championship stretch here. Do you think he's got it this season? Do you think he's got an easier road, or do you think it's going to be a lot harder to try to get to 3?
I didn't even think he really could get it last season. I mean, he was winless all season long, and the very last race of the season, I mean, there was still a chance. He got the win, he got the championship, but, I mean, I think it's going to be just as tough, if not tougher, this season. There's some, newer talent, guys like Juergensmeyer. Yeah, Juergensmeyer. He's been looking like a really talented young driver that could mix things up, and of course, Luke Nupp. He was so hot last season. I think he's on a revenge tour.
Hey, you mentioned Luke Nupp. I do not see him yet on the entry list here tonight so far, but, we talk about, last season. You cannot talk about it without talking about how dominant Luke Nupp was. I believe he was the leader in wins. He was the leader in top 5s, top 10s. I mean, that man was up front, pretty much every race except for, 2 of them. He was in the top 3. It was a ridiculous stretch of racing, from beginning to end, but unfortunately not able to walk away with the championship. So definitely looking for some revenge here in Season 12 as we look around some other drivers out of the racetrack. Right here is the number 19. Second fastest on the charts. That is our very own Adam Goot.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see him out there as well. He's been doing a little bit more racing here lately and been pretty promising on these super speedways as well. Didn't have the greatest race this past Saturday night in the Amsoil Truck Series, but he's been pretty promising at these super speedway races, and P2 on the practice charts right now. I think Adam is one that you could really watch out for at the end of a race if he gets there.
Absolutely, and he's definitely going to have a chance to tonight at Daytona. Anybody can win. It's any given race day at a track like Daytona or at Talladega. But talking about Daytona, you talked about Saturday. Let's talk about the guy back here who is not getting set a lap time, but he is the most recent winner on JCTV, that being the 56 of Oscar Enriquez, winner of this past Saturday's Amsoil season opener at Daytona. Looking to see if he can go back-to-back on JCTV here tonight.
So I'm telling you, I mentioned this on Saturday as well. If there are two drivers from SBLD that I would pick and say are two drivers to watch out for on these kind of races, is Jeffrey Armistead and Oscar Enriquez. Those two work so well together, and Armistead came so close. It was Enriquez, as you mentioned, pulling off the win. I think Enriquez, he's got just as good of a shot. Personally, I know we're not doing picks to win yet, but I'm not saying I'm going to pick Enriquez, but I think those SBLD drivers are going to work really well together. We might just see one in victory lane tonight.
Yeah, there's a good amount of guys here that are going to be working together that have worked very well together. Guys like Jeffrey Armistead and Oscar Enriquez, Brett Bennett as well. We talk about, we're talking a lot about Saturday night racing, but if we talk about Tuesday night racing, we talk about Slide Job. Last season opener at Daytona, the iRacing Funny 250 to open season 11. Jeffrey Armistead was the man to find victory lane, with help from Brett Bennett. Oscar Enriquez was there in the mix as well. Alonso Chicano, as part of the team, was also in the mix with them early on. He got sort of in a wreck, taken out early, but Brett, Oscar, and Jeffrey all worked really well together, had the right strategy, had the right calls, and in the end, Jeffrey Armistead was the winner of the iRacing Funny 250. Can he start off Season 12 with another trip to victory lane?
I easily think he could. Again, the SBLD drivers, they work so well together. You guys are so connected. You guys are very, very well, good friends. You guys know each other's moves. Great communication, and I think that's what it takes to be up front at these kind of races. So, yeah, I think Jeffrey Armistead easily can park it back in victory lane, either this week or in the next coming weeks at Daytona.
Yeah, and the flip side of all this conversation is, of course, the runner-up in last season's iRacing Funny 250 and the runner-up of this past Saturday night's Amsoil Truck Series race at Daytona, Brett Bennett. He is still looking for that first career win, whether it be in Slide Job, in Amsoil. Any league that he has run in so far, he's still really hunting for that first win here on JCTV in these league races. But he's feeling very good about his chances this season. He is very high on how he's run with the Xfinity car, and I think he'll definitely be somebody to keep eyes on, at these super speedways especially, but also maybe, as we go along into some of these other races.
Yeah, he has a big part into, those great team finishes as well. You mentioned 2 runner-up finishes at Daytona, Slide Job last season, Amsoil just this past Saturday. Brett's for sure one to watch. Now we are into qualifying, Dawson.
It's time to start qualifying here at Daytona. There we go. Looking to see who all might be out on the racetrack right now, getting ready to qualify. The first one I see on my screen is the 38 of Matt Steiner. Of course, you see him run on JCTV. He's another one of the SBLD drivers as we were talking about. But Matt Steiner, big Elliott Sadler fan. No shock he chose the black and white M&M's Elliott Sadler scheme that ran back in, I believe, 2004. Definitely looking to see if he can spark some speed out of this 38 machine, making his Slide Job Racing League debut here tonight. It should be a fun one to watch.
I've been really impressed with Steiner as well. He's pretty new to iRacing, but he's done an incredible job at these types of races. I think Steiner is going to be one to watch out for tonight.
And you mentioned super speedway racing. I mean, not even that. It's been just racing at tracks in general. He's done very well keeping his truck or his car clean, doing a great job getting up there and getting good finishing results. He has been very good in the short time that he has been racing, as you mentioned. So I think he's definitely somebody to keep eyes on as the season goes on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've been so impressed with Steiner in just the short time that he's been on iRacing. And, it's only a matter of time before he starts clicking the finishes off that I think he can get.
Well, as he makes his way through 3 and 4, he is not going to be the first driver to put a lap time down, I believe, but he is definitely looking to put a lap time down here. So he makes his way through 3 and 4. That time it's going to be... Looks like it's going to be a 50.982 is going to be his lap time he is going to put down and immediately pull it off. So Matt Steiner with a good lap time there. Look and see who else might be on track here. Looks like Matthew Chastain is out making his lap. Look and see if I can't find him there. There is that number 12 machine. Making his way down the back straightaway, down through the tri-oval.
A lot of drivers on track right now, and one thing to note, it is only 1 lap for qualifying, not 2 that we're used to seeing. So drivers, if they want, to have a great lap time, it's got to be just, that 1 lap.
See Traber Burns coming through the travel to the start-finish line. I believe this is to take his fast lap. Actually, to start his fast lap. So we'll watch Traber Burns in this number 32 Toyota Supra, see what he can do here at Daytona with just 1:26 to go and qualifying. The fastest time, it looks like, belongs to Dylan Parker.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know Traber Burns was on the entry list for Slide Job. He is somebody that, if you don't watch SAT Coast to Coast Cup Series, definitely won't know who Traber is, but he is, I've been really impressed with Traber. He actually had a huge win at Dover in the Coast to Coast Cup Series, and he had a pretty good run on Saturday night as well. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do tonight. Of course, this is just Clash, no points on the line, but I think he's going to do a pretty good job as he sets the 18th fastest time.
Yeah, 59.91, not going to be enough to get him to that pole position. It looks like with just 32 seconds to go, not going to be enough time for any of these other drivers to set a lap time. So we are going to have a qualified lineup, ready to go here at Daytona. Really quickly got to fix that, because for some reason timing has not worked. Cool. We'll fix that really quick, and then we'll get you your starting lineup here on JCTV for the Icebreaker Clash at Daytona for the Slide Job Racing League, the unofficial kickoff to Season 12, starting with a few bumps in the road. No big deal. But Josh, we've seen qualifying. You've got your lineup set here. Who are you looking at right now throughout this field that might be, somebody to watch?
Dylan Parker is a driver that we always see up front towards the end of races. Actually surprised to see him on the pole tonight, but I think Dylan Parker, if it's anybody that can break up the SBLD drivers, I think it'd be Dylan Parker.
And I'm shocked you mentioned it, but at the same time, I'm not. You didn't mention Dane Cruz, the Cruz missile, as you always say. He is very good, but, he is also now on SBLD. He is shifted over to being a part of the SBLD adjacent team. So, you know, Dane is going to be a part of that, so we'll see how things shake out for him. But first things first, we got to take a look at your starting lineup here for this Icebreaker Clash here tonight. So starting on the front row, it is Dylan Parker and Dane Cruz going 1-2 here. Then in row number 2, it's going to be Oscar Enriquez and Noah Mayuri. Starting in row number 3, it's going to be Jonathan Parker, your 2-time defending champion, and Jeffrey Armistead, the iRacing Not Funny 250 winner last season, starting to his outside. Row number 4 sees Sean Kissany and Jackson Glenn Austin, and rounding out your top 10 is Brett Bennett and Blaine Sparling.
Starting in 11th, it's going to be Christian Pacheco, Jake Scarborough to his outside in P12. 13th, JT Larsh, Matt Steiner. We'll start 14th. 15th goes to Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Matthew Chastain, starting in 16th. 17th, Ty McIntosh, Trevor Burns, start 18th. 19th, I'm stumped. Paul
Stathmary is what I'm going to say, and if that's wrong, that's wrong.
That's exactly how I was going to pronounce it. Sathmary, C silent. Paul, correct, we're wrong. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, starting in 20th.
Starting back in 21st is Gabe Cazzola. 22nd to his outside is Jamie Wright. In row number 12, Michael Thorpe Jr. and Jaden Porter. Row 13 sees Shane O'Neill and Justin Burnham. Row 14 is Donald Stern and Zach Sanders. Back there in row 15 to round out your top 30, it's Brayton Laster and Ryan Bogey.
Adam Kuhn, 31st. Nathan Kiani, 32nd. 33rd, Zachary Wareham. Darren Roy, 34th. William Turnbull will start 35th. River Jones, 36th. Bridger Olson, 37th. Jared Wilson, 38th. And 39th goes to Dylan Thacker.
And that is your starting lineup here for the Icebreaker Clash. You take a look just really quickly. It's 40 laps. Clear skies here at Daytona. Looking forward to a good one here. Look like Dylan Parker electing to take a EOL penalty that sends him to the back of the longest line. That puts Oscar Enriquez and Dane Cruz the front row as the pace car gets ready to pull off. It's 40 laps of racing here at Daytona in the Season 12 opener for the Slide Job Racing League. As they make their way towards the green flag, we are racing here at Daytona. The Icebreaker Clash is underway. As they round through the corner for the first time, Oscar Enriquez out front, Dane Cruz to his outside. You see Jonathan Parker all over the back bumper of Enriquez. Noah Mayuri to the back of Dane Cruz as they head down the back straightaway into turn 3.
No surprise to see Oscar Enriquez up front. He started up front, won the stage, and won the race Saturday night. He would love to continue that hot streak tonight, but Dane Cruz and Noah Mayuri, they are there on that outside line. Just barely hanging on.
Not far back, though, as well. You see the 0-2, Jeffrey Armistead, the 47, Brett Bennett. The two teammates, of course, to Enriquez and Cruz, seeing if they can try to work their way forward to get with their SBLD teammate. Seeing what they can do to make moves throughout this field right now. You see it's very, very, very tight still. The outside lane is still working somewhat, but not fully enough. It looks like somebody's going to go third lane. As a matter of fact, they're going to go into the wall. I believe that's a wreck now. I think that's Jackson Glenn Austin in the 11 as they pile up here in turn 3. For the first time, we are under caution here at Daytona. That is Jackson Glenn Austin in the number 11. Should be the number 20, but showing up as the number 11. He is going to be your first accident of the day. Takes out a good amount of cars here in the early goings. get your first JCTV replay of the night. I'm not too sure what really happened to Jackson here. He gets high, made it clips the wall, then turns right there, hits Blaine Sparling, and then right here, just back in the field, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer gets involved. I think that is the 89 of Jamie Wright. Brayton Laster gets involved as well, Ryan Bogey. That's the 23 right there of Rivers Jones. Like, just a lot of cars involved in this accident.
Something happened on the backstretch after the caution was already out to Shane O'Neill. Looks like Big Jack. Oh, Justin Burnham, I think that is, just got him. Indeed, that was Justin Burnham.
Well, Jackson Glenn Austin is now out. We'll see if we can take a look at your JCTV replay to see what happened between Shane O'Neill just trying to look and see what might have happened to Shane here. There we go. Got eyes on it now. So let's take a look and see what happens to Shane under caution here, slowing up for the field and just maybe a little netcode hit, but gets turned around by the 74 of Justin Burnham. A lot of chaos here in the opening laps of the Icebreaker Clash, but up front, Oscar Enriquez holds the race lead. Dane Cruz is second. Then it's Noah Mary, Sean Kissany, and Brett Bennett making up your top five.
So Dawson, because this is a exhibition event, they have allowed everybody to have a fast repair tonight. So everybody that was involved in that accident, they have a fast repair to use, so they're not out of it. But I think you and I both can agree, if you have to use that fast repair tonight, you do not want to have to use it because of lap one.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these guys that were in this accident, guys like Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Rivers Jones, Donald Stern, Jamie Wright, Gabe Cazzola, Dylan Parker maybe even as well got a piece of it. You know, the last thing you want to do is use your fast repair. You want to be able to just get that damage repaired and save it for later if you can, but we'll have to see. But right now as it stands, Justin Burnham, it looks like, is completely out of the race. It looks like Jackson Glenn Austin has returned back to the car, so right now Justin Burnham scored as the 38th place car, officially the first car out of the race.
And the lights on the pace car are off, so we are going to be 1 to green. Top two remain the same. Enriquez on the bottom, Dane Cruz on the top. You know, you mentioned it, Dane Cruz being a cruise missile. He is so good at these kind of races. I've been really impressed with Dane as well. You know, and just how it seems like he can control these races, and you never can count him out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, anytime we come to a super speedway, whether it be Daytona, Talladega, even Atlanta when we went there, he somehow always found his way to the front, got up front, and battled for the lead, battled for the win. You know, it's no shocker that, you know, the guy who's a big Denny Hamlin fan seems to have one of the Denny Hamlin strong suits, and that's super speedway racing. You know, he's very good, you know, finding his way through the field to get to the front, to battle for the win. We mentioned he's won multiple times at this style of racing, so you know, we'll see what Dane can do tonight. It's a 40-lap race instead of a full dash, but you know, hey, sometimes the sprint races matter just as much as the dash races do.
Yeah, and now there was a vote on this as well, and the vote was Xfinity cars at Daytona. This just happens to be what they're going to be racing. So this is great opportunity to use this for practice for the season opener here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be very good for these guys if they can make their way into the into the iRacing Not Funny 250. This is good practice, restarts and everything. So we'll see how this one goes. Coming to the green flag on lap number 6, Enriquez is going to mash that gas pedal and put us back under the green flag. Back racing in the Icebreaker Clash. And right here you'll see Dane Cruz slot in right behind Oscar there in that inside line. They get together and now they'll try to work together. Noah Mary on the inside as well. Brett Bennett with them. Sean Kissany left by his lonesome so far on that high side. Who really left by his lonesome. We saw JT Larsh duck into the bottom lane, as did Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Pretty much everybody that was in the outside lane is ducking low, but now Brett Bennett's going to make a move to the high side with help from Ty McIntosh. Here comes that 47 of Brett Bennett.
Not surprised about that at all. Brett, I know he loves this kind of racing as well, and he sees a teammate up there. If he can get up there working with Oscar, I think we're going to see some of that SBLD magic just like we saw Saturday night.
Yeah, he's wanting to work with Oscar and Dane, of course, teammates here in the Slide Job Racing League. See what he could do. Trying to lead a line in this 47 car.
I think the one thing that we really learned just from watching is radius racing, controlling every line possible. And we see that in real racing, too, when you get the teammates. Hendrick Motorsports, Shogun's Racing, drivers like those, controlling every line. This track, it is wide enough to go 3 wide, but it's not very smart. So right now, if you can control the 2 lines, these guys are in good position to get one of them a win, bring the win back to the team. Ty McIntosh, though, kind of looking a little bit higher.
No, might have gotten a little help from Kissany there. Got a little sideways. Gathers it back up, but you see McIntosh, Kissany, Scarborough, and Chastain line up together back behind Bennett. I see back there, it looks like Michael Thorpe Jr., Nathan Kiani. Look at this, a third lane is forming already. I believe that's Jonathan Parker and Christian Pacheco trying to make the outside lane. And now Bennett pulls to the bottom in front of Enriquez and Cruz. And you'll see these 3 work together now, but they're all sorts of split up in the background as Jonathan Parker tries to make a third lane work back in the background.
Yeah, those JVM guys moved up high. And for a moment, I thought Thorpe was going to join them up there. He just went all the way down to the bottom behind Dane Cruz.
And how quickly the tides turn now. Bennett to the inside of the race leader, Ty McIntosh, trying to fight on the outside with Kissany, Scarborough, Chastain, and how about Nathan Kiani back there as well in the mix? And you see somebody dumping down to the apron. I believe that's JT Larson, Dylan Parker, both. A sideways move there by Bennett, trying to gather it up with Enriquez pushing. Now the outside lane, 2 cars clear. They pulled down. Scarborough wanted to go with them, couldn't do it. So now Ty McIntosh leads the field. Kissany is leading the inside lane now, and McIntosh pulls back high. Kissany, though, has gotten even, so they cannot work both lanes. So now it's McIntosh and Kissany side by side for the lead, and we got it sliding. Around they go.
Oh, man.
Gabe Cazzola goes for a ride into the wall. Again, another accident for the 18. It looks like the 17's back there is Zach Sanders. There is the 67 of Bridger Olson, the 23. That is Rivers Jones. There is Jackson Glenn Austin again. It looks like Jamie Wright as well again. And a lot of these guys that were in that last accident find their way into yet another. That all starts with, I believe, Bridger Olson, though, trying to make a move to the outside lane. Right there, the 96 gets involved. Just everybody starts to pile up. Darren Roy, Gabe Cazzola, Jonathan Parker gets right there through it. Rivers Jones is in it. On board with Gabe Cazzola here. Just hooked and right into the outside wall. And hit again by Jackson Glenn Austin.
Normally, Gabe was up high. He went down low, and normally when there's a wreck, I would have preferred to have been where Gabe was, rather than being up high. But the crazy thing is, Jonathan Parker and Pacheco, I believe. Yeah, Pacheco, who was up high, they somehow missed the wreck.
Yeah, they're the lucky two that get by. They were the ones right there in the thick of it all. But they skate away unscathed here. So definitely a little bit of luck on their side here. Lady Luck looking out for Parker and Pacheco after that accident. So a lot of guys coming down pit road. Some split strategy calls here on lap number 12.
So we kind of mentioned it earlier, Dawson, and I didn't have time to really go into an explanation, just in case if there's anybody confused. If you're not really all that familiar with racing, and you're kind of looking at this and thinking, how is this kind of good practice for in a couple weeks? They're all in a pack. At these kind of races, anything can happen, and they will happen. Anything. We've seen it all. We've had it all happen to us. The thing is, there's still so much to learn. How much does draft play a factor? Getting back up to a car in front, pushing, different lines. These guys can learn so much tonight for what they can do to win the iRacing Funny 250 here in a couple weeks. So. And I wonder really if that's why, with the vote that these guys had, if this was the direction that the drivers were thinking as well. Because a lot of times we've seen it before. It's been a whole different car track combo. We've not been at Daytona for the Icebreaker Clash. So, wondering if that's kind of the direction these drivers were taking.
It's likely that. I mean, they're thinking, hey, some extra laps around Daytona. It's an easy race to run as well. It's not like you're having to put a lot of challenge into it. It's a for fun race in the grand scheme of things. There's no points payout. There's no bonus or anything. There's money on the line. Come out and race. So they want to go to a track where they can sit back, have fun, but also, too, you mentioned there is that bonus that you get a little practice, to get ready for if you make it to Daytona at the end of the month. If you do make it to the iRacing Funny 250, you've got this extra practice. Driving in the pack with some of these people. There's some new drivers in the league that are in this race. You're able to get to learn them, get to navigate through them, and maybe even look and see, can I make this move work in case I need to try to do it in January 30th? Can I make the move to the outside lane by myself, pull somebody with me, and get up to the front? Or maybe can I make this move from the second lane work? It's a chess match, and they're practicing. They're practicing how to castle. They're practicing how to capture. So that's what we're seeing. That's why this vote kind of went the way I think it did.
Yeah, there is a ton these guys can learn, and they're gonna use everything tonight, and keep it in their mind, in the back of their mind. It is Sean Kissany and Ty McIntosh on the front row.
New group leading the charge here. Going to determine how this field goes. See, Oscar Enriquez up to 4th. Michael Thorpe Jr. back in 5th. Zachary Wareham is 6th in the 6th car. Paul Zathmary is in 7th. Then it's Dylan Thacker 8th. Nathan Chiani 9th, and how about Ethan Fonseca Moreno, the renumbered 29 car, back there in 10th. As they await for the pace car to take that safe turn down to pit lane, it's Sean Kissany and Ty McIntosh leading the field this time to the green flag, back racing in the Icebreaker Clash. At first, McIntosh fell in line. Now back to the outside. Here comes Jake Scarborough to help him as well.
There's just no formation going on. Wareham moves to the high side.
Nathan Chiani with help from Matthew Chastain in the background trying to get up in the mix here on the outside as well.
Outside line, it's generating momentum now. Scarborough giving a great push to McIntosh. That top line looks a little bit more formed up than the bottom line. Plus a little bit of a numbers advantage to the high line. Oh, big side draft.
It's definitely more formed up, more cars up there, but it also feels a lot more unstable in this bottom lane. You see a lot of jostling, a lot of moving back and forth in this outside lane. I think that's going to be a factor maybe for how these lanes are going to work. It's a lot more unstable, a lot of moving around, possibly maybe even some uneven bumps on the back bumper coming from this outside lane. Definitely going to make some people wary and go to the inside.
A little bit of stack up on that high line. Up at the bottom line now. It's Enriquez going to clear Ty McIntosh. McIntyre. Junior now clear.
And just like that, you see that very stable inside line. Everybody really nice and tight together, working well, staying in line. That's going to help them get the advantage and keep pushing forward. And you see how quickly they've already cleared the top three, almost the top four now, have cleared this outside lane.
Yeah, Scarborough needs to get back on McIntosh. Oh, but they're going to be 3 wide, just behind. It was Chastain taking a 3 wide with Wareham and not sure who that is. Oh, Porter. Jaden Porter.
Still staying strong though, this this outside lane now, I should say, excuse me, with McIntosh and Scarborough. There's Zachary Wareham staying up there with them. Matthew Chastain, 4th in line there. Then it's JT Larson, the 4 as well, in the picture with them. They are pulling back up towards this race lead, making their way back to the front.
A little bit surprised here. That outside line, they're just not able to really generate enough momentum. Now Wareham is there. Big push to McIntosh. Now they might be able to start cooking.
Hitting all sorts of sideways and over the place. But McIntosh takes the lead so far. Not fully clear of the inside lane as they make their way through turn 3.
Enriquez, I think, gave just enough of a push.
Oh, Enriquez! Enriquez is pitting. You see some more drivers. The SPLD drivers coming to pit lane as well. Not sure how many of them might have made it down to pit lane speed, but, you know, pit stops are a possibility for needing them. And you see here the SPLD drivers all elected to come down pit road this time. And I notice McIntosh is pulled down to the bottom lane in front of Kissany. You see Scarborough jumping out to the race lead. We might see him dive low here in a second if he can. I expect to see some more drivers coming to pit lane here this next time by as well.
Doesn't look like anybody's showing
yet. But if I were a gambling man, I would gamble to say that the reason we saw all of those SPLD drivers jet down to pit road is because that is when the window opened right there. The window is now open for them to pit and make it to the end on fuel. So we saw Bennett, Enriquez, Armistead, Cruz, Dylan Parker, Matt Steiner, all coming down pit road that time by. You see there Bennett leading those drivers out. Enriquez is next in line behind. Then you see Jeffrey Armistead. There's Dane Cruz back there. Matt Steiner a little bit further off, and Dylan Parker is with him. They're going to have to make some magic happen here if they want to catch this field and try to fight for this win.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Matt Steiner, but he said a word in text chat that starts with an F. Not very happy with his pit stop.
I assume you're meaning fail because he might have missed his stall or maybe came in a little too hot and might have had to been black flagged. Meanwhile, back in the background, Zachary Worm! Oh, we got a spinner on the back straightaway! It's the 24. Savmary is around. He's in the infield, though, so it may not draw the yellow flag. McIntosh continues to lead here. The field gets a little bit more spread out here after that spin by the 24. Will stay green for now. Take a look back at what happened. Just got a little loose on the front bumper of Ethan Fonseca Moreno, and around he went on the exit of turn 2.
Can't tell if there might have been a little bit of netcode involved when he went up before coming across Ethan's nose. Just kind of the way his car jerked to the left, leading to the contact with Ethan. Looks a little weird to me, but meanwhile, Jake Scarborough pushed from Chastain. Scarborough side by side with McIntosh for the race lead.
Jake Scarborough, no stranger to victory lane on JCTV. Winner of last season's All-Star race here in the Sled Job Racing League. Looking to see if he can go back-to-back in special event wins. Up ahead, you see Matt Steiner and Dylan Parker going to be in front of our race leaders. McIntosh and Kissany, though, right now clear out front for first and second. There's Michael Thorpe Jr. right there, now clear for third. And Nathan Kiani right there to the inside of Scarborough as well, trying to clear this outside lane.
I think the only way Scarborough might be able to win is if you finish a second, there's a DNQ out of the guy that crosses the line first.
That'd be hard for the guy who wins the DNQ, considering they had to qualify for this race. You think you're talking about a DQ finish, which we saw last season. Anyways, it is Ty McIntosh now with Michael Thorpe Jr. behind him. Kissany pulled up high. He is slow on the outside lane. He's got Nathan Kiani behind him, but you see here's going to be a stack up because that's Dylan Parker and Matt Steiner trying to stay on the lead lap or at very least catch a draft to stay with the pack. For now, they're going to go a lap down as McIntosh and Thorpe clear them. Oh, Steiner's a little sideways on the apron. What a save by Matt Steiner to not stack the field up even more. But that hinders the inside lane just that little bit, and that's going to help Michael Thorpe Jr. try to get to the race lead.
Wareham got into the back. I couldn't tell who it was. It was whoever was. It was Dylan Parker, and Wareham actually got onto the apron. Was sliding. He saved it, lost a ton of time, and now he is just in front of Brayton Laster, hoping Brayton can push him back up there.
Up front, it's side by side for the race lead. Michael Thorpe Jr. with help from the 28 of Jaden Porter versus Ty McIntosh with help from the 10 of Sean Kissany. You see Jake Scarborough on the inside lane as well as Matthew Chastain to the outside lane. It's Thorpe, Porter, Kiani, and Moreno. as they cross the stripe this time. It will be 15 laps to go in the Icebreaker Clash at Daytona. And just up ahead of the leaders as well, you do see that pack. That is the pack led by Brett Bennett with Dane Cruz, Jeffrey Armistead, and Oscar Enriquez. The leaders are not far behind.
No, they are not. And I like the strategy they had, but I don't think it's going to work, as you got wide driver shuffling. We got 3 wide. Kissany. Oh, contact! Kissany with Thacker. They saved it. They're going straight, but that was a sketchy moment.
I was getting ready to say Kissany dropped out from second in the inside lane on the back straightaway. He dropped below the WO line, faded back a little bit, and blended back up in the field, but not sure what he faded back for there, unless he's thinking he has to save some fuel. Kiani, though, outside lane for the race lead. Sideways contact. Around goes Kiani. The field somehow is going to save it. Maybe not. McIntosh going to the inside wall. He gets it back straight. We are still green. Not yet under a yellow. We may not get a yellow. How on earth did everybody save that?
Dylan Parker even said, "How did y'all not wreck it?" I mean, that was insane.
And now here comes Moreno to the race lead with help from Jaden Porter. 13 laps to go, and we've got to take a look back at that one. Quickly, we'll take you on a JCTV replay. Just some contact, and Kiani hits that outside wall. And then right there, Ty McIntosh saves it to the infield. But Kiani's on pit lane as we see 13 laps to go. Ethan Fonseca Moreno handedly in control right now with Porter behind him. Blaine Sparling on the outside lane with help from Dylan Parker, who's a lap down, trying to see if they can make some magic work and get the 59 to victory lane.
I don't know who Jaden Porter is, but I see a sponsor on his car being KBRN, and I'm wondering if Ethan Fonseca Moreno knows exactly who that is, because Ethan has a little bit of a relationship with KBRN as well. They might, I was going to say they might be working together, but after that move I just saw, I'm not so sure.
Not sure they wanted to do that, though. I don't think Porter wanted to fully commit to that outside lane. That was a reactionary move. I think Nathan Kiani coming out of pit lane, shooting back up to the outside. But you see Porter fading back on the outside lane. Michael Thorpe Jr. coming down to the apron. I believe he is coming to pit road. Indeed, he is, the 34 machine. Making his way to pit lane. As now we're starting to see maybe it play a factor. They're 3 wide for second now. Porter's getting past in the inside lane. I think we're going to start seeing some more of these guys have to come down pit road because the fuel window is not big enough. Oh, Moreno trying to block to the outside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. Moreno, Sparling, and Chastain. Contact made. But Sparling going to get a push from Dylan Parker to the race lead. Now goes Blaine Sparling with help from a lap car and Dylan Parker.
Oh, big wreck! Wow, Chastain hit the wall hard, and Sparling is going to go around. He saves it.
JT Larsh, the other car, involved in that accident with Matthew Chastain, but the 12 car is going to get the worst damage of the two. It's a late accident here at Daytona. That's going to put us back under caution. Down the backstretch, it was 3 wide for the lead. Blaine Sparling gets clear. Right here, JT Larsh is on the outside lane of Matthew Chastain. Not sure what happens there, but the Ford just kind of jolts back to that inside lane and just right rears Chastain into the wall.
What a save by Steiner and Pacheco. They had a little bit of contact, got sideways themselves. And got both their cars going back straight.
Now, yeah, we're gonna have to look and see what happened with everybody here because of this chaos that happens here. We're gonna watch what happened to Blaine Sparling. Contact from Ethan Fonseca Moreno right here as that accident happens, and Sparling, and you see Pacheco and Steiner, but man, what a save! You mentioned it by Blaine Sparling. Sideways, 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 back straight, back rolling. We're good.
Looks like the move from the movie Cars. Lightning McQueen was going through the infield grass. Saved it, got back on track. I think Blaine Sparling has taken some lessons from Lightning McQueen.
All right. We got a new race leader in the field. Traber Burns in the 32 currently scored as your race leader. Second place, Brett Bennett. Oscar Enriquez in third. Jeffrey Armistead 14. Cruz in fifth. The strategy call is going to work out for now, at least. For the SBLD adjacent drivers. Can they make it stick and try to go for the win here as we will get a late race restart in the Icebreaker Clash?
So I'm very curious to know what Traber's position is. I'm showing here on my telemetry that he was last on pit road 21 laps ago. Now for Brett Bennett, Oscar, Jeffrey, and Dane, I think it's kind of bad news for the rest of the competition. Those four currently are second, third, fourth, and fifth. See what Traver's doing. He looks to be pitting here.
I think he's down the apron saving fuel, but we'll see for sure. But how about the big bailout here as well? Michael Thorpe Jr. had just come to pit road about a lap before. He came down pit road. He gets back out. He's sixth right now. He's in a good spot. That 34 machine's going to have another shot to win this thing.
I think he's another one you just cannot count out at all. Such a smart driver. Just has had some bad luck.
You talk about a smart driver. I mean, you've got to say that with the caveat that he has learned from his mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
for a while he was considered to be one of the worst plate racers. He was doing some really bad moves. He made some really questionable decisions, early race blocks, things that didn't work out for him. Like, of note, the season 10 Talladega race, I believe it was the one where he had that very, lap 7 block that took him out of the race, took him out of contention for the championship 4. But he has wisened up from that. He hasn't found victory lane. He's had some bad breaks come his way that have kind of taken him out of it. But he has been so good at keeping his nose clean for the most part and staying out of trouble and trying to be there at the end when it matters the most. He's done a great job building upon that, and right now, 6th place right now, maybe able to try to sneak in and take the win here.
And the worst thing for Thorpe, too, is he's such a great racer. He's so fast. He's one that can dominate races, and he just has bad luck. It's just he cannot get something to go on his side or go his way. I think Thorpe will get a couple wins this season. I think he can. We know he's got the speed. We know he's a good driver to do so. I think he'll get a couple this season.
Yeah, for him, it's not been about having the speed. It's just been about putting it together at the end, whether it be just an unlucky break with a late caution or, getting caught off cycle. He's just not had the best of luck. But we'll see what happens this season. But now we're watching tonight. 7 laps to go. Traber Burns, Brett Bennett the front row as they head through the restart zone. The green flag is back out. Back racing the Icebreaker Clash. What could be, but probably won't be, the final restart. Traber accelerates out front. Bennett and Enriquez were side by side there.
I think there was a little bit of contact between the two.
Yeah, I think they had a miscommunication. Bennett thought he was pulling to the inside. Enriquez thought he was going high. We'll see what happens. Enriquez is going to go high instead to get around the 32 of Traber Burns. Bennett now on the back bumper of the 56 car. Dane Cruz now pushing Traber Burns as they head down the back straightaway here. Enriquez looking to clear for the race lead.
You know, Brett Bennett's tired of being the bridesmaid right now. He's sitting in that bridesmaid position. But Traber Burns with the great push from Dane Cruz. Pulling back up just now, edging ahead of Enriquez.
Dane's going to shove that 32 for all he's got. He's also got the 67. How about Bridger Olsen, another really good driver in the background, is going to be part of this mix as well. Just 6 laps to go.
Bridger, driver we don't see too much anymore in Slide Job. But he is such a great plate racer as well. Third car on the inside line, as you mentioned. I think he's got just as good of a shot as anybody else.
Also, wasn't he involved in an accident earlier on in this race? With the 48 of Jonathan
sure
Parker pushing him, and look where they are right now, nose to tail, the 67 and the 48. When it gets to these late races, you find your friends where you can find them. Ryan Bogey just got into the outside wall. He's going to fade back in the background there on the outside, that Polaroid 35 Ford Mustang. 5 laps to go up front, however. It's still neck and neck for the race lead. And the third lane is considering forming and might start forming. I saw Pacheco start to make his way up there as well. Bogey was doing that as well until he got put in the wall. This third lane may be something to watch out for here.
Checo's there. He's going to get back in front of his teammate, Gabe Zola. And now it looks like
Ty McIntosh. And you see, oh, there's the 7. That is Donald Stern. That is Donald Stern, and I don't believe that's the former NBA Clippers owner. And you see, oh, it's Ryan Bogey in the background, sliding, spinning into the outside wall. I see some more cars involved as well in the background, I believe, back behind Bogey. Couldn't tell who it was, but a late yellow is going to lead to another restart. Overtime, it looks like here, possibly in the Icebreaker Clash. I was just in the middle of making the joke for the first time tonight about Donald Stern's name, and we have a caution. I see exactly what it was. This one involved Dylan Parker to start. And a 24 there of Paul Zathmary. Contact there. And right here it blinks out, but then right there you see Shane O'Neill gets involved. I believe that car right there at the end, couldn't tell who that was. But then as well involved was Ryan Bogey in the 35. Adam Kuhn was involved as well. Thanks to iRacing blinking out, we couldn't fully tell what happened in that accident. Right
Adam
there.
actually not involved. He was way off pace.
Able to scoot by and miss it then, but actually looking at it, Bogey might have been... an incident by himself, actually, just spinning right there on the apron, clipping, and then overcorrects and noses the outside wall pretty hard. So Bogey, in his own incident, compared to the rest of the drivers, Dylan Parker, Paul Zathmary, and Shane O'Neill, an unfortunate bystander involved in that accident as well. So the field is going to get stacked back up. We're going to get another restart here. It'll be overtime in the Icebreaker Clash for sure. And somebody who's really hoping it didn't go to overtime for sure is Traber Burns. He has been out there for 26 laps. And here's the worry. You see Oscar Enriquez on the apron? Trying to save fuel possibly right here. Oscar's pretty well close to that safe spot. 19 laps since he last came down pit road. Dane Cruz as well, but is also possibly saving fuel. Bridger Olsen's good. He doesn't need any gas. He's got plenty of gas. You see Bennett in the background, Armistead in the background, Parker as well, even possibly saving some fuel. But look at Traber Burns, 26 laps since he last ventured down pit road. This 32 car has got to be running on fumes.
I am very impressed with his gas tank or maybe his fuel saving right now. That he is still out there. Okay. So, driver communication. Brett just asked Draver how his fuel was. Draver said, I think I'll make it. He is just down there in case there's any other green-white checkers. So if I'm not mistaken, they're going to get the 1 to green this time by. And it will be a green-white checkered. Put us overtime. Scheduled distance of 41 laps. So the front row going to be Burns and Enriquez. Dane Cruz, Bridger Olson. Row 2. Row 3, Bennett and Armistead. Once again, those SBLD guys, they are all right there. And Bridger Olson, he's not SBLD. Jared Burns, he isn't either. I think those two are going to have to fight really hard. They want to try to beat these guys.
Well, it'll all come down to what could be the last restart of this race. You see the fuel situation again on the left side of your screen. Draper Burns likely could be on fumes here for this overtime restart. Enriquez, Cruz, and Bennett and Armistead, they've got about 20 laps since they last came out pit road, and yet they are still trying to save fuel just in case we go a little more than just this one overtime attempt. Bridger Olson, he's plenty good on fuel. He came down a few laps ago. He's got nothing to worry about. Also throughout the field, Jonathan Parker, Michael Thorpe Jr., Ethan Fonseca, Reno Donald Stern, they've also got nothing to fear as they make their way in this pack. The top 10 ready to roll, but it's still anybody's game. If you're on the lead lap, you've got a fighting chance of winning this race. Pace car taking the field at a nice and cool 70 miles per hour throughout turns 3 and 4. It's go time for these drivers. 2 laps to determine it. The pace car really weirdly pulls off on the pit lane. Draper Burns, Oscar Enriquez, the front row through the Geico restart zone. Overtime in the Icebreaker clash. Green flag back in the air.
I don't like the separation on that bottom line.
It didn't look like Bennett got going at all, but at the very least, he also probably was waiting for that. There's Armistead and Enriquez both pulling to the inside lane.
Oh, man. Bennett going to move to the high side behind Bridger.
So much for that, I guess. You see, Ty McIntosh going to the outside lane. Going to make a third lane possibly viable here. You see, then Dane Cruz going to go to the top side. Draper Burns can't block. Here comes the Cruz missile to the outside lane for the lead.
What's Oscar going to do here? Is he going to push Draper?
Third lane
Side
being
draft.
led. Third lane, Michael Thorpe Jr. now trying to make it work. We're going to get the white flag. One final lap to go here at Daytona for the Icebreaker clash. Can Dane Cruz hold on to win? Does Draper Burns have enough fuel? Can Thorpe steal it? Or will somebody else in this big mess of cars take home the checkered flag? Oh, Olsen sideways. Thorpe's getting turned. Around goes the field. Enriquez going to go sideways. A big stack up. Everybody's in it. We've got 3 cars who make it away safe. Cruz, Burns, McIntosh. Down the back they go.
Cruz side drafting Burns.
Neck and neck, anybody's race between these two. Burns, Cruz, side by side. Cruz trying to hold off. Burns side drafting at the line. Traber Burns takes the checkered flag in the Icebreaker clash by just 16 100ths of a second. Unofficially, it's 2 100ths of a second over Dane Cruz. Ty McIntosh goes third. Oh my God, what a race.
What a race is correct, Dawson. That was an insane finish.
We were talking about the fuel, and he was right. He had just enough. 29 laps, stretched it just long enough, as long as he needed to, and he takes home the checkered flag in tonight's Icebreaker clash. Does he have enough to do a burnout?
He's going to try.
No, he's got enough in the tank.
You know, there's just something special about winning at Daytona.
So
It is so hard to win. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I was about to say, yeah, it's a difficult task to win a race like this, but man, we have got to look back at the finish of this event here with your JCTV replay. Coming down to it, the white flag flies. One more lap. And you'll just see behind. It starts with the 67 of Blaine Sparling, and it just trickles down everywhere else. Literally, everybody gets swept up here. Jonathan Parker sliding through right there. You see there, everybody just finds their way into it. Madhouse. The exit of turn 2. But then it just came down to Dane Cruz and Traber Burns. It was a 1v1, mano-y-mano. Two Supras going at it. Ty McIntosh, he was up there. He had a chance in case one of them made a mistake and took the other out, but it didn't come down to that. And you'll see right here. Here's how close it got for the finish. Traber Burns just barely nosing out ahead of Dane Cruz to win at Daytona in the Icebreaker clash. What a finish indeed. Well, Josh, what do you say we first see if we can reach out to our third place finisher there? See if maybe Ty McIntosh is available for comment.
Sounds good. I'm not seeing. Oh, I see him. Hey, Ty, you got a copy?
Sure do.
Well, Ty, there was a huge wreck there on the last lap, and you were hanging back a little bit from Burns and Cruz. You were side by side. Wasn't able to get up to them, but what was that like? Just getting through that last wreck.
I feel pretty bad because part of that was my fault. Thorpe was right in front of me there, going through 1 and 2, and I saw the middle lane get a little congested and start to get loose. So I was trying to make sure that I could try to get Thorpe through it, and then turned him. But I think we were going to wreck either way, whether I wrecked him or not. But yeah, I mean, just that wreck was huge. The racing there at the end was fun. Obviously, I think I went from like 12th to where we were there at the end in 3rd. So it's just hectic, man. But these play races are always fun like that. It's chaotic. But I had a good time.
Think any further the draft would have helped you get up to Burns and Cruz, or
I think most of it was still trying to regain speed from getting in that wreck and turning Thorpe. So I think if I had maybe a couple more mile per hour, it would have been close. But yeah, I just couldn't get up to him at the end. I was trying to, when I saw him side draft, and I was hoping I could get there, but I just had nothing for him.
All right. Well, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you behind that 0-1?
Man, Far Harley Dirt, those guys very supportive of me. A new sponsor that's coming on board. Haven't got a paint scheme made for them here yet, but W Energy. If you want to use my code It's TMAC at checkout, 10% off. Burning Rubber Podcast, Jake Scarborough Racing, JSR. Had great runs with him tonight. Unfortunate that Jake got caught up in that, so I want to apologize to him. But yeah, that's it. Just Far Harley Dirt, W Energy, JSR.
All right. Congrats on 3rd place finish, and we'll see you next time. Ty McIntosh, driver of the 0-1, 3rd place finisher tonight. And I believe Dawson will have Dane Cruz. Maybe.
Hey, Dane Cruz, the boys in the booth got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Dane, the springboard didn't work enough. You tried to hit at the end, but losing in a photo finish. What was that race like for you, especially that chaotic accident there in turn 2?
I'm so sick of play racing. Like, it's so much fun, but I feel like I always end up second. I don't know what I got to do to just get one more position. I thought I set myself up great there, final lap, and then they all just wrecked, and that was probably the biggest wreck I've ever seen. That was funny, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a little annoying. 2nd place again. Remember the last time we were out in Slide Job for the points race? I finished 2nd at Homestead as well, so I'm just used to it at this point. So yeah.
Getting comfortable in the Brett Bennett position, but 2nd place to open up season 12 here in the Clash. How is that feeling going now, heading towards Daytona in a few weeks' time, coming back to this track to race in the iRacing Not Funny 250?
Yeah, I've been looking forward to pole qualifying as well. Trying to go for 3 in a row there. It's going to be competitive, so I think I can do it, at least front row. And then the race is just, I feel like it's going to play out a lot like it did tonight. So, yeah, I think this was a pretty good representation of what we're going to see in like 3 weeks or whenever we actually go racing.
Well, we'll be keeping our eyes on you for qualifying as well as keeping our eyes on you during that iRacing Not Funny 250. But teammates, sponsor shoutouts. What got that one machine out there to have a chance to go for the win?
I want to thank the guys. They were going crazy tonight. We tried some strategy, and it wasn't looking like it was going to work out, and then we got a caution, then we were all up there. But yeah, thanks to them, and I don't have anyone else to thank.
All right, that is your 2nd place finisher, losing in that photo finish to Traver Burns. That's Dane Cruz, 2nd place again here at Daytona. Congrats on the podium, though, Dane.
Thank you.
And we'll take a look at your finishing results here presented by no one. Trevor Burns, of course, with the win over Dane Cruz. Ty McIntosh, the only other car to escape the carnage, finishing in third. Somehow, some way, Jonathan Parker not using that day glow yellow scheme that Jimmy Johnson ran in 2013 like he should have ran. He ran that white car, and he finished fourth, and that's why he finished fourth, that he didn't use that nice yellow scheme. Donald Stern brings it home fifth. Zach Sanders in sixth. Nathan Kiani brings it home seventh, and Ryan Bogey eighth. Jamie Wright was ninth, and Gabe Cazzola rounded out your top 10. As we take a look through the rest of your race results, I do believe Josh Coppernoll is going to catch up with the winner of tonight's race in victory lane. That is Traber Burns. Josh?
Yeah, I've got him. Traber Burns, man. First of all, it wasn't until Dawson mentioned your name that I realized you were even registered into this session for this league. And then seeing you up front, I was thinking there's no way Traber's got enough. My first question is, how good were you? How close were you?
I don't think I would have made another green-white checkered. That was it. I think I had maybe one lap left. So yeah, no, it was extremely close. But ever since Dover, I've vowed to do something different every race, and for me, that was in this race, pitting on lap 10 and stretching the fuel all the way.
Yeah, I mentioned your Dover win earlier on the broadcast, and knowing that you are such a good racer, and just coming to seeing you race in some of these other series, you did such a great job on Saturday night, and tonight showing a pretty good run again tonight. So, I mean, you had a lot of teammates around you for last few laps and then the last restart. Kind of out there by yourself. What was the thought like, just trying to work around all those guys?
I mean, it just I tell you what, coming off of 2, it felt like that 07 500, except we had 3/4 of a lap left. So, man, that was yeah. I mean, I just had the best strategy, really. The seas parted under that yellow where everyone pit, and I just happened to take the lead there, and then I just held it. Nothing much to it.
Now I saw it. Big side draft out of Dane there in 3. Really slowed you down coming off 4, but you did such a great job just to edge him out. Did you feel him pinching you and was planning to get right back onto his quarter to side draft him back?
Oh yeah, it was gonna be side. I knew it was gonna be side drafting all the way as soon as that wreck happened, and then I thought on the backstretch, the way the timing was working out with the side drafts, I thought I had it, and then he came off a 4 and he got out farther than I was expected to, and for a second I thought I had lost that there, but yeah, thankfully I was able to get back on his door and get enough of side draft to pull him at the line.
All right, well. Sponsors, shout outs, who gets it done for that San Andreas Auto Club 32 machine?
Yeah, 02 was taken, so I guess I had to go with the 32 this time. Honestly, man, I'm out here alone. I don't have any of my SAC guys out here with me, so yeah, not no teammates to thank or anything. I just would thank Dane for keeping it clean there. That was a lot of fun at the end.
All right, well. Hey, congrats on the win, and so far, you're starting to become one of JCTV's own, as far as the colleagues go, winningest driver.
Appreciate it. Hopefully there's many more to come.
We don't count Jonathan Parker, because he would have it by a long shot. We don't count him.
Let's count him, see if I can catch up to him. We'll see.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Congrats on the win, and be exciting to see you out there next time.
Yes, sir.
Jerry Burns, race winner here tonight in the Icebreaker Clash. Dawson.
Yeah, it was a great race, a great finish. Something maybe to even look forward to at the end of this month, come January, in January, for our iRacing.Funny 250 to see just how that pans out. Do you think we maybe will see something like this coming into that race?
I'm going to be honest. I think a race like this is a lot different because there's no points on the line. A lot of times you hear, "Bring home the checkers" or "Bring home the steering wheel," and as opposed to a race like what we may see in a couple weeks, where it's points racing, and yeah, everybody wants to go for the win, but if you can't win, you just can bring it home in a decent finish. I think that's uh, going to be good enough for some drivers. Start the season off on the right foot. Obviously, everybody wants to win. Anything short of first is a bummer, but you know, saving the car and getting those points is pretty important too. So I'm not really so sure. I think it'll be a lot different here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting to see as we get ready for that. But it is the start of a new season of racing here on JCTV. Slide Job Racing League, of course, tonight's race. We'll see some more action, I believe, Thursday night. I believe we start kicking off coast to coast, or am I mistaken on that one?
Negative. Coast to
No.
Coast will start back up in February.
All right, so we got a long time. It feels like till we get some racing on Thursday nights. But hey, Friday night, NAOR series at Michigan to kick off their season. Qualifying was last week, I believe. This week is going to be the race itself to kick off their season. And of course, this upcoming Saturday night, we're going to see a real fun race. It is the Amsoil Truck Series at Vegas, so it should be a lot of fun. A lot of racing coming up throughout the weeks on JCTV. Next week, if you do want to tune in, it'll be qualifying for the pole for the Slide Job Racing League iRacing.Funny 250 here on JCTV at 8:45 p.m. Eastern, same time as always on Tuesday nights. I want to thank you as always for tuning in and watching these races with us. We always have a blast putting them on, and I hope you have a blast tuning in and watching. I want to shout out Traver Burns for picking up the win for one of our JCTV drivers. For Josh Compernol and Dawson Allen signing off, saying so long, have a great rest of your night, and we hope you're ready. It's race season.